Logul lui Andrei Clenci.
Dubla 10.
9.
9.
Andrei, avem nevoie de un mentor în vlogging și vrem să te ajutăm. Sperăm să ne selectezi materialul și să mergem mai departe în această competiție. Îți mulțumim!
So I'm a pretty big fan of stadiums, and I think close to a year ago I discovered this wonderful channel called Wide World of Stadiums. And this guy presents a whole list of stadiums from a different category, like for NFL stadiums or football stadiums in a certain country or in Europe or whatever. And today he uploaded the Romanian Super League 22-23 stadiums, and we're gonna see what he has to say about those. Especially, it's pretty special since I've been to some of them. Let's check it out.
Romania might not be the first country that springs to mind when you think of football,
True.
but they do have experience with building ridiculously big things, and some of their stadiums are actually world class. So, let's check out the Liga 1 stadiums. We start with Arena Națională, which is Romania's national stadium as the name suggests, but it's also home to Romania's biggest club, a club that's so big that over 40% of football fans in the country support them. The stadium features a retractable roof of the fabric variety, as well as a centre-hung video board, which are two amenities that no other stadium in the country can boast. It's certainly a stunning stadium, but I have heard that they were a bit stingy and bought the cheapest seats possible for this stadium. I've just read several comments about the crappy seats. I know, might not be true.
Yeah, they're not the best seats, but the stadium itself is gorgeous. I've been there a few times. It's the biggest stadium in the country, and it also hosted the 2012 Europa League final. That was a hell of a match between Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao.
Stadionul Ion Oblemenko. When I first encountered this stadium, foolish me, I thought Oblemenko was the name of the bulbous shape of the exterior. Oblemenko sounds like it could be a shape, right? But no, it's actually named after a club legend. This one-of-a-kind exterior looks incredible, but the interior even more so. Due to the unusual shape, you actually see more of the underside of that roof canopy than you do the stands themselves. That's neither a good or a bad thing, just unusual. I like it.
Absolutely true. Everything he's saying is well documented, and it's home to two clubs that pretend to be Universitatea Craiova. Which one of them it is, I have no clue. They both have a pretty big set of fans, and one of them is sponsored by the city, and the other one by a businessman. And apparently none of them have the history of the club. I have no idea. I've been here too, by the way. So it's 2 for 2 now.
Cluj Arena. This one might include a track, which is obviously not ideal for football, but the beauty of the architecture here overrides that. The metallic exterior looks stunning, as does the unconventional wavy segmented roof. The seats themselves are a somewhat dull grey, but it does have to have a neutral colour scheme, due to the fact that it's home to 3 clubs at the moment. Just the one in the first tier though.
It is actually my favorite stadium of the bunch. Like he mentioned, the architecture is gorgeous, and I've been there too. I've lived a hell of a match. A friendly, sadly, between Romania and Chile. Chile took the lead 2-0, and then we turned it around 3-2. It was amazing.
Staying in Cluj-Napoca, we have Stadionul Dr. Constantin Radulescu. A
You
stadium
pronounced that
that's
name so
unusual
well.
in more ways than one. Firstly, it's named after a doctor who was also a footballer. Things were different back then. And secondly, due to its elevated position and three-sidedness, most spectators are rewarded with a panoramic view of the city. In the foreground there is this elevated video board, which is also kinda odd, but I love this stadium.
It is not that big of a pleasure to be there. I've been there one time, and the away end over there is crappy, very crappy. So we're 4 for 4 right now.
Stadionul Orna. Yet again we have a stadium that's shared by 2 clubs in the league. But I don't blame Chindia Târgovista for wanting in on what is primarily Petrolul Ploiesti Stadium. Hence the vibrant blue and yellow colour scheme, the fact that they have their name on the seats, and also the fact that it's named after one of their club legends. The most distinctive aspect of this stadium would have to be those corner sections for VIPs, or in reality, VRPs.
Okay, VRPs, okay. Yeah, this is the first one I haven't been to yet. I really hope to go to someday because although it's small, it's pretty neat actually. And yeah, it's home to two clubs due to the fact that Kindia Târgoviște has a very old stadium which does not live up to the expectations, the standards of the Romanian First Division. And it's been like that for several years now. They've been there, they have played there for several years now. But they are otherwise a pretty small club who are based about an hour drive away from Ploiești. And yeah, it's the home stadium of Petrolul, obviously.
Stadionul Nicolae Dobrin. Numerous teams have called this place home in recent years, but Arges Pitești have been here since it opened in 1964. I'm not sure the design has changed much since then, but at least they haven't had to maintain an extensive facade as most of the stadium is sitting on sculpted earth. Well, they do have to mow it, of course.
This is what I would call a typical Romanian stadium. It's very old and open at all sides. It has a track and field track. And you saw those stairs leading up to these ones. This is pretty common. And I have no idea how this stadium lives up to the standards of the Romanian First Division. I don't even know what the standards are anymore.
Well, they do have to mow it, of course. Stadionul Rapid Giulești opened just this year. It features a much more elaborate exterior than the last one. Most things are more elaborate than grass, to be fair. Due to room constraints, the interior features one stand that stands out. This one is damn it. Kindergarten was a long time ago. Trapezium, I think. The other stands are more conventional, but I'm loving those cherry red seats.
Yeah, that is really the newest stadium. I've been there too, but just to visit. I have no idea I have no idea if I was allowed or not, but I just walked in. There were some guys standing there. They didn't say anything. I just walked into the stand, even down to the substitution benches, and nobody said a thing. I don't really know if that's normal or not, but well, yeah, other than that, it's a really cool stadium actually. I like it. Also, you can check the video where I visited the stadium in the description below. I actually visit all the main stadiums in Bucharest if you're interested in that.
Stadionul Francisc von Neumann. It's another newbie, one that reminds me of John Smith's stadium in England. And that's no bad thing. It's probably one of my favourite stadiums in central southern West Yorkshire. This one did cost less than a quarter of that stadium to construct though, so I wonder what shortcuts were taken.
I believe it's smaller.
Oh, you know what? It's probably just that the roofs are white instead of blue. Mm-hmm. That must be where the €60 million difference is.
Yeah, I bet. Oh yes.
Deep in the...
I was very curious about this stadium because it's actually my hometown. And yeah, they are showing the temporary home stadium. Well, I'll just let it play first.
Romania, we have Stadionul Gazmetan, but everyone calls it Gaza. Gaza certainly doesn't shy away from the bright colours. Both stands are fully blue and yellow on the outside and within. Gaza is the oldest stadium in the league, but this double-decker stand to the east is actually quite new. Well, about a decade old. But it was built on a tight budget, hence the pillars. Looks good though. See you, Gaza.
Alright, so like I said, this is a temporary stadium in Mediaș, about 1 hour drive from Sibiu. And yeah, they're currently building a new stadium in Sibiu, which will be gorgeous. Here's some footage of it. And I really cannot wait for that one to be finished. And I've been here too, obviously, a few times.
Stadionul Municipal. The stadium's design could be summed up with one simple sentence: a single-tiered, oblong, uncovered seating bowl. But if you look deeper, the design gets more complex. There is a roof over there. Do you see it?
Yes.
It goes up and down like the zigzag. But yeah, despite its lack of features, it still looks fine.
It's again a typical Romanian stadium.
Stadionul Angel Iordănescu. We saw a riverside stadium earlier, but this one is surrounded on three sides by a river. It is elevated quite a bit, so it would take a ridiculous amount of rain to flood it. It has an interesting layout with stands on three sides and an elongated house thing on the other. Not bad.
I think this is the weirdest stadium in the league, to be fair. I always notice those houses there. And it's located into the outskirts of Bucharest, in a very small village. And it hosts a club that has very few supporters, if any. Yeah, and it's also very old.
Way out of the town centre in some fields is Stadionul Viitorul, a relatively new stadium with quite a striking black and blue colour scheme. The club actually just moved into this venue last year, as their old venue was going the way of Ceausescu.
Okay.
Speaking of which, what a way to depose a dictator. If you don't know that story, it's worth looking up.
Oh yeah.
Especially any Russians watching.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I cannot believe he said that. Staying with football though, this is actually a pretty neat stadium. I've not been here because it's really far. But there's a really cool story behind it. I don't know if Gica Hagi springs up a light bulb in your head. He's the best Romanian football player of all time. And after he retired, I think, well, some years after he retired, in 2009, he started his football academy and his own professional football club. And then he climbed up the ranks with that club and built this really cool looking, this standard stadium. I would say it's modern enough and it's big enough too. So yeah, his club, FC Viitorul, or FC Future, used to play here until last year, and when they arrived into the first division in 2015 or 14, I want to say, they struggled with relegation for a bit, and then they won the league in 2017, and they won the cup, I think it was 2021, and they also won the Super Cup. So they won pretty much everything, and they just merged with the big club in Constanța, which is Farul. So now they moved here. Yeah, like I said, a pretty cool story, in my opinion. I have nothing but respect for Hagi for what he developed here. It was his own pocket money, and he built a Romanian champion.
Especially any Russians watching. Stadionul Orășenesc. This is quite a bare-bones stadium, no covered seating in the house, and you can even see through some of the stands. But it looks fine. The proximity and elevated nature of some of the stands puts the spectators right on top of the field. Stadionul Sepsi Arena. This is yet
Is this really the name of it? Is this the official name of it? So according to UEFA's official website, stadium is just called Sepsi OSK Sfântu Gheorghe Arena, which makes more sense than Sepsi Arena Stadium, but that's not the worst thing to worry about.
another brand new stadium, and a very showy one at that. The design is more than just an aesthetic choice though. There's a complex political situation here. Despite it being in Romania, the city's population is made up of mostly Hungarian speakers, and this Hungarian-inspired stadium was actually financed by the Hungarian government. I think Orban is a bit of a stadium lover. Too bad he's also a
Yeah, you can say
And
that.
on that censored expletive, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing.
Definitely go and check out the original video and go leave a subscribe for him. And while we're at that, if you enjoyed the video, slap a like on it and subscribe if you're into the channel. I really enjoyed this one. I was not expecting very much. I was pleasantly surprised to see a video about our stadiums. Yeah, I loved it, to be fair. And pretty much all the information in it was correct. Now let's just count to how many stadiums I have been to. Okay, National Arena is first. 1, 2, Craiova. 3, Cluj Arena. 4, CFR Cluj Stadium. Dr. Constantin Rădulescu. 4.5. Let's call it 4.5 because I visited it a little bit for like 20 minutes. 5.5. It's 5.5 stadiums out, or yeah, you can say 6 out of 15, because we have 16 teams in the first division and 2 of them share their stadium. Yeah, let me know what you thought about our wonderful stadiums in the Romanian first division in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.